Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Niti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunilitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sakagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Isvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. Hare Krishna. So now we are successfully studying Bhagavad Gita, and we finished half of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that is the opulence of the absolute. So that's what we finished in the 10th chapter. So in Bhagavad Gita, we understood like why first of all this knowledge Krishna gave to Arjuna, even though they both were like cousins and from childhood they were together, and all the time they are like very together actually. So that way, but at no point of time Arjuna asked Krishna to teach this knowledge, and Krishna also didn't give this knowledge to Arjuna. Only in this particular situation, when everything went out of control for Arjuna, everything was going out of control. He couldn't control him at all. So he told Krishna, Arjuna told Krishna in the second chapter, he said in the 8th sloka, he told him that I don't find any means, I don't find any way to drive away this grief. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So that's what Arjuna told. So because he says it, Nahi prapashyami mama panudyat yachokam uchoshanam indriyana. So the intense heat coming from this grief is drying up my senses. That's what yachokam, uchoshanam, that grief. So in that situation only, Arjuna is asking Krishna to tell him that now I am confused about my duty and I have lost all composure because of my silly weakness. So in this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Yashreyasyan nischitam bruhi tanmi. And he uses the word, I am your disciple. That means sisyaste aham. So literally, he is telling that I am your student. So that's what Guru, Sishya. So Guru is a teacher and Sishya is a student. So Arjuna is telling Krishna that I am your student. So Shishyaste aham. And normally in this, to get this knowledge, this Bhagavad Gita, so this knowledge can be received only if the student has very submissive attitude. So that's why he is telling Krishna that Sisyaste agam tvam prapannam. Tvam prapannam means a soul surrendered unto you. So that's why Sisyaste agam tvam prapannam. Sadimam, you please instruct me. So that's what Arjuna is asking Krishna. So this is a situation condition to get this knowledge in a very submissive attitude. So because what does that mean is having full faith. That is the main. That means having open-mindedness. So if we ourselves have like some thoughts which we don't want to believe in this knowledge, so then we cannot get this knowledge. So that's what here it means, the submissive attitude. So in that condition, Arjuna is actually asking Krishna. Even Krishna told in the 4th chapter, actually in the 2nd sloka, Krishna told that Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshiyog. This knowledge was received through the chain of disciplic succession. That's what he says. So it was received through disciplic succession, means parampara. So parampara praptam means it comes through. Because this is the knowledge, something which, of course, even in our day-to-day life also, when we go to schools and the colleges, we have to read the book, we have to attend the classes and understand that from the teacher. Otherwise, we cannot study ourselves. That's not possible. So, of course, there are books and other things, but we need to get, if we have questions, so the teacher has to explain. So that way, that's why there are schools and colleges and all such things. If everybody can study themselves, then there is no need for any institutions. So like that, here, this knowledge was actually received through parampara praptam. Imam rajarshayo viduhu. So what is the meaning of rajarshayo? Means saintly kings. So that's what saintly kings is rajarshayo. So that means kings were saints. That is the main. So saintly kings, rajarshi. So that's how they understood. So that's how they understood. That means that everyone had guru. So the guru teaches, guru gives the knowledge. So that way it comes through disciplic succession. So this evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. So even Krishna is teaching in Bhagavad Gita, is teaching that this knowledge actually is, when you get this knowledge, so then there is no confusion at all. So yajnatva napunar moham evam yasyasi pandava. Ena bhutani asesena yajnas. Krishna is saying that, so this knowledge actually, seyan dravyamaya yajnat jnana yajnaka parantapa sarvam karma akilam partha jnane parisamartha. So all the knowledge, everything, all the work, activities, everything culminate at the knowledge only, culminate in transcendental knowledge. So here Krishna is teaching that knowledge, tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanam. So just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. So tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas. So jnaninas means those who have the knowledge. Tattva darshinaga means those who have seen the truth. So the seers of the truth, those who have seen the truth. So you approach them, those who already have this knowledge. So just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Then inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. So the self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So that is the way this Bhagavad Gita was received. It is also, now also is, we can study that way only, we can understand. So that's why Krishna is teaching that this knowledge, if we understand, so then yajnatva napunar moham evam yashashi pandava. So if you get this knowledge, if you understand this knowledge, then there is no more confusion. Everything is going to be very, very clear. Then there is no confusion at all. Yajnatva napunar moham evam yasasi pandava yena bhutani aseshani drakshashatmani atomai. So that means having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So drakshashyasi Atmani ato mai. So they are in me. So that's what they are mine. You can see that. That's what Krishna is teaching. So that way, with this knowledge, we will get the big picture. So we need to see this entire universe, this entire world, everything. I say with a big picture. We should not limit ourselves to a very, very small place. And just if we are restricting that, then that means we will not have any knowledge. So if we get the complete knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita, so then we will be able to see how Krishna is the Supreme God. So how this universe is created. Everything, of course, is science, and Bhagavad Gita also, whatever Krishna says, even the Shastra, basically Bhagavad Gita is Shastra, even the Puranas. So everything, they agree with our modern science also. So that way, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge actually will give us the complete knowledge, so that there is no more confusion. There is no bewilderment at all. So that's why even Arjuna tells Krishna at the end that in the beginning he said that, in the beginning we just studied that, he told that, so I am completely confused. I don't know what is right or what is wrong. So I am confused. Now I am confused about my duty and I have lost all composure because of my self-weakness. That's what he told. So that's why he asked Krishna to explain him what is good for him. And at the end, when Krishna gives the complete knowledge, so Krishna's last verse to Arjuna, so Krishna is actually asking Arjuna that, O son of Pratham, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So that's what Krishna is asking. Kachit shrutam pata tvaikagrena chetasa kachit ajnana sammokaka pranastaste dhananjay. And what did Arjuna say? Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. That's what Arjuna. So this knowledge completely cleared all his confusions, all his doubts. So he says that Nashto Moha, Smritir Labda, Stitosmi, Gata Sandeha. So Nashto Moha, Smritir Labda, Tvat Prasadat Maya Achyuta, O infallible one, by your mercy, all my confusions are gone. My illusion is now gone. So Nashto Moha, Smritir Labda, Tvat Prasadan Mayach. Now I am very well situated. Stitosmi. My doubts are gone. Gata Sandeha. Karishe Vachanam Tava. Now I am going to act as per your instructions. That's what he says. So, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. If we all put ourselves into Arjuna's shoes, in this world, without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we have so many confusions, doubts, all such things. We are struggling. Because this material world, as we already studied in the 8th chapter and the 7th chapter, Krishna is teaching that this is Dukkhalayam, this is Asasvatam. So that's what 8th chapter and 9th chapter. In the 8th chapter, Krishna is teaching that this is Dukkhalayam Asasvatam. In the 9th chapter, Krishna is saying that this is Anityam Asukkam Lokam. Both are the same meaning only. Dukkhalayam Asukkam Lokam, same meaning. So Dukkhalayam means full of miseries. Asukkam Lokam also means there is no happiness. That's it. Asukkam Lokam. And Asasvatam, Anityam. So Asasvatam also means it is temporary. It's not permanent. Anityam. So it is not permanent. So it is temporary. So that way, this material world is Dukkhalayam Asasvatam. So that's what Krishna is teaching. So having come to this temporary, miserable world, you worship me. That's what Krishna is teaching. So since you have come to this temporary, miserable world, so you worship me. So that way we can actually get out of this temporary, miserable world. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. So that's what he says. So Krishna is teaching that engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. That's what Krishna is teaching. So you will surely come to me. So manmana bhavamadbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaisasi yuktvaivam atmanam matparayan. So that's what will happen if we study this Bhagavad Gita, follow this Bhagavad Gita, and understand this Bhagavad Gita, this science. Basically, this is the science of Bhagavad Gita, which is the very, very confidential knowledge. So because it cannot be easily understood by anyone just like that. Because that's why Krishna is saying that this knowledge is the king of education. It is Raja Vidya, the most secret of all secrets, Raja Guhyam. It is the purest knowledge, Pavitram. And because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam. And it is everlasting, Avyam. And it is joyfully performed, Susukam Kartum. So this Bhagavad Gita can be joyfully performed. That's what will happen if you have the complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because this is the most confidential knowledge. And we are studying, we are understanding everything, that we are not the body, we are the soul. And the soul is bound inside this body by the three modes of material nature. And we are forced to act under the control of the modes of nature, because the modes of nature are very, very strong and powerful. Not even a single moment we can refrain from doing something. So that way they are very, very strong. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So we cannot simply sit idle. So idle mind is the devil's workshop. But the problem is that we are not at all free. So we are forced. All the time we are forced to work, forced to act. So that's what is happening with every one of us in this material world. As long as we are controlled by the three modes of material nature, we will be forced to act only. So that way Krishna is teaching that only for a person who is able to find happiness within the self, but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. But for such person, he is not forced to work. He is not forced to act. So a self-realized man who has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work. So nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. So that's what will happen if we are not attached to anything, not attached to the results of our activities. If we have the complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and if we are able to fully attach ourselves to Krishna with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, understanding and realizing that everything is temporary in this material world. So at that point of time, we will be actually, we don't have to depend on anyone for anything. We are totally free. At that time, we are not forced to act. So that's why Krishna is teaching that, therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. So that's what Krishna is doing. Tasmat asaktaka satatam karyam karma samacharan asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusha. So now in the 10th chapter we are studying, we started, and in the 10th chapter Krishna is giving more knowledge about himself, and Arjuna is also asking Krishna to give even more knowledge about himself, about Krishna. As we already know that up to 6 chapters, all this knowledge about ourself, the soul. Then from 7th to 12th chapter, the middle 6 chapters, so totally 18 chapters. So the first 6 chapters about ourself, the soul, and then the next 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters, everything is about Krishna, the super soul, the supreme Lord. And then the last 6 chapters are everything about the 3 modes of material nature mainly. So here, what we studied, that Krishna said very clearly that no one knows about him. So neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulence, because he himself is the source of everything. But he who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undeluded among men is freed from all sins. That's what Krishna is doing. So Krishna is saying that I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So aham sarvasya prabhavo, mattaga sarvam pravartate, everything emanates from me. Itimatva bhajante mam budaka bhava samanvita. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. That's what Krishna is doing. So these things we studied. So Krishna says that the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about. So that way, those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam danami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. So I give the knowledge, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. And also to show my special mercy, I destroy the darkness of ignorance by the shining lamp of knowledge. Tesam evanakam partam aham ajnanajam tamaga nasayami atma bhavastu jnana deepena bhasva. So if we are very fortunate to get this knowledge, if we are able to understand this Bhagavad Gita fully and all our ignorance is gone, if we understand very well that we are the soul, we are not the body, so that means it's all Krishna's mercy. He is saying that I give the knowledge. So even in the 15th chapter, Krishna says that I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. That's what he says. So I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So sarvasya chagam hridi sannivishto mattaga smritir jnanam apohanam. So that way we will get all the needed knowledge, remembrance, and everything if we have full faith on this Bhagavad Gita and understand this Bhagavad Gita completely. So then everything is successful. Actually, whatever we do, because we do everything only in relationship with God. We are not simply attached to materialistic sense objects, material things. So that way our life will be very, very blissful. So all such things. Now Arjuna is asking Krishna that I agree whatever you said. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest and the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So I totally accept as truth whatever you told me. Now you alone know yourself by your own internal potential. Now you please tell me your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Katham vidya aham yogim swam. So he is saying that you please tell me Vaktum argasya aseshena divyagi atma vibhutega Yabir vibhutibir lokan imam swam vyapya tishtasi. That's what Arjuna is asking. By what you are pervading all these worlds. So now, how can I constantly think of you? Katham vidya aham yogim swam sada parichintya. And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered? Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. So, O Supreme God, please tell me. So now we finished up to this 18 verses last week. So Arjuna is asking that, O Janardana, so Vistarenatmano yogam vibhudim cha Janardana bhuyaka kadaya triptri srinvato naasti me amrita. So again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. That's what Arjuna is asking. So now Krishna is starting. So that's what we are going to study today. So the answers given by Krishna. Answers means about his opulence. Krishna is teaching. So Krishna says that I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. Antate pravakshami divyagi atma vibhudayaga. Pradanyataka kurushreshto nastyam to vistarasyami. So there is no end for my limitless opulence. So I will tell you those which are prominent. So that's what Krishna is teaching. What Krishna is saying there. Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhuta sayastitaga aham adischa madhyam cha bhutanam antayevacha. So I am the super soul, seated in the hearts of all living entities. Sarva bhuta sayastitaga. I am the beginning, Adi, and middle, Madhyam, and the end. So I am the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. Aham Adischa Madhyam cha Bhutanam Antayevacha. Of all Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. So here Krishna is teaching all these things words because we need to understand like maybe Srimad Bhagavatam, how this world was created, who are Adityas, who are Maruts, how this universe was created, how everything expanded. So everything, there is a lot of science in it, but that's not a part of this Bhagavad Gita. But we just have to understand from here that in all the things, everything, the Krishna is the best. So that is what he is teaching. And sometimes we may ask the question, why Krishna is saying the stars, I am the moon, like that. So he's saying that I am the nakshatra-nam aham sashi. So nakshatra means stars. So it's all the way we define what star is there. It's our modern scientific definition of stars is something which gives their own light. So basically the suns, the solar systems, the other suns. So here, anything you see light from the sky in the night, so that's what you consider as stars. So that's why here Krishna is saying that among nakshatra, I am the moon. So that's the only thing. We cannot simply say that, oh, here it is saying that moon is a star, but that is not true. How can I believe this Bhagavad Gita and all? So that means that's not the right way to ask. So that way, here Krishna is saying that of all the things which gives light in the night, so I am the moon, because moon only gives needed. In fact, we know that scientifically also we know that all the vegetables also they grow, the juice in the vegetables, everything comes from the moonlight only. So that is, it is not only sunlight is needed. Even with our modern science also, we understand that moonlight is very, very important also. So that's why Krishna is also teaching here that I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So that's a perfect science. Krishna is already teaching here that Gamavisya bhutani dharayami aham ojasa pushnami chausadigi sarvaga somo bhutva rasatmaka. So that's what Krishna is teaching. So he is supplying everything. So Krishna is the source of everything. That's what he continuously teaches. So that's why of all the stars, I am the moon. Then Krishna is teaching that of the Vedas, I am Sama Veda. So there are 4 Vedas, but in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about 3 Vedas, Rik, Sama, Yajur Veda. So these Vedas, we don't have to really worry about Vedas right now because we don't have that much time to study and understand and follow, because this Bhagavad Gita itself is the essence of all Vedas. Krishna is saying very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, if you just understand that, there is nothing else is there for you to know. Yajñātva neka bhuyo anyati ñātavyam avasisita. I am teaching you completely both the theoretical and practical knowledge. Jnanam te agam sa vijnanam idam vakshyami asesata. So that's what Krishna is teaching. Said, I am giving you the complete knowledge. By knowing this, there is nothing else is there for you to know. So that way, we really don't have to think about Vedas and other things. I shall not declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. That's what Krishna is teaching. So that way, we need to understand that this Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedas. Just getting this Bhagavad Gita is very important. So of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind, Indriyana, Manaschasmi. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. So that's what Krishna is teaching. So Krishna is everything. So of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is also Krishna only. So that's what as I mentioned. We really have to study in deep other scriptures to understand about all these different gods. I think if we study Brahma Samhita, there is only 62 verses. We will understand most of these things also. But still, here in Bhagavad Gita, we just have to know that Krishna is the source of everything. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas, I am Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am the fire, Agni. Of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. Senaninam aham Skandaham. Sarasamasmi Sagaraga. Of the bodies of water, I am the ocean. So like that, Krishna is teaching in this chapter all the things, everything I am. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. So Yajnanam Japayajnosmi. And Stavaranam Himalaya. Of the immovable things, I am the Himalaya. So like that, Krishna is teaching. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. So Aswathaga, Sarva Vrikshanam. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Naratam. Devarishinam Naradagam. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraradaga. Gandharvanam Chitraradagam. And Siddhanam Kapilo Munigi. Among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. So like that, all these things Krishna is saying that in whatever field, whoever is expert, Krishna is saying that that is me. So that means without Krishna's giving that skill, without Krishna giving that energy, knowledge, all such things, we are not ourselves the great. That's what we need to know. So that means if we see someone in this world, they are great in something, so we need to see that that greatness has come from Krishna. So we cannot simply, normally what happens, what in this world, we just think that if somebody is great in something, so then we give all the credit to that person and we get attracted to him and all such things. We forget, we don't understand that all such things are coming from Krishna. That is the main thing. So we cannot simply assume that I'm great, I'm do everything I can do, I'm billionaire, or I'm so rich, I'm so powerful, I'm so beautiful, all such things. Without Krishna giving it to us, we are not going to get it. That's all. And another thing, everything in this world is temporary only, whatever we gain also. So that way, Krishna is saying that everything is coming from me only. Of horses know me to be Uchchaisrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Of the weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Of causes of procreation, I am Kantarpa, Gandharva, basically, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Of the many-hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. And among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am time. Time controls everything. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapon, I am Rama. Ramaga Sastra Britagam. Of fishes, I am the shark. Makaras Chasmi. So I am the shark. And of the Janavi, that is Ganges, of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. So that way Krishna is continuing that I am everything, I am everything. So of all creations, I am the beginning and the end and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So of the letters, I am the letter A, and among the compound words, I am the dual compound, and I'm also in inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. There is Datanam Visvatomukha. Then of all, I am the all-devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Of the hymns of the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margasirsha, and of seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor, I am victory, I am adventure, I am the strength of the strong. Balam balavatam aham. So Krishna is the also Sattvam Sattvavatam aham. So that's what I am the strength of the strong. So of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So Krishna himself is telling to Arjuna that among Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So Arjuna is there sitting in front of him, standing in front of him. But Krishna is saying that I am Arjuna. So that means whatever the Arjuna has got the skills to fighting skills. So everything is coming from Krishna. That's what we need to know. We cannot climb that. We cannot think that everything I am doing it. It has come to me. So I am great. So I am the doer. I am the performer. Then we make huge mistake there. That's what we are committing huge mistake. So we need to understand and realize that everything, we are a part of this nature, and everything is controlled by this nature, this material nature, which is Krishna's external potential. And Krishna, everything is coming from Krishna, and Krishna is the source of both spiritual and material worlds. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattaga sarvam pravartate. So that knowledge we should have. So we cannot simply think that I can do anything and everything. Then we are actually, that's what is known as ahankara. So with ahankara is there, then we cannot get out of this material world. We will keep coming back to this material world. We'll be keep taking the temporary miserable bodies again and again, and we'll go through birth, old age, disease, and death. So janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. That's keep on. It's going to happen. But if we get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and understand that everything is coming from the Supreme Lord Krishna, there is God. God is in control. So then everything is fine. But the materialistic peoples, the demons, they say that there is no God. So there is a problem. So they say that there is no God in control. So then they are called demons. So Krishna is saying that asatyam apratishtamte jagatdahu anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyate kama haitukam. So they say that the world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So asatyam apradishtamte jagaddagur aniswaram aparaspara sambhutam kimmanyati kama haitu. So such people, that is for demoniac nature. So that leads to bondage actually. So whereas the transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. So that way, we need to realize and understand that we are like we have to do everything based on Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise we will be bound to this material world again and again. So that's why Krishna is teaching here that among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality, and of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom. So furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Natatasti. So there is natatasti vinayatsyan maya bhutam chara acharam. So yachapi sarva bhutanam bijam tadaham Arjuna. Krishna is the generating seed of all that exists. So that's what he is saying, that I am the generating seed of all existences. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite operances. That's why we cannot limit God's capacity, God's abilities. So God has unlimited potential. So that's what we need to understand. So na anto means there is no end. Na antosti mamad divyanam. Na antosti mamad divyanam vibhudinam parantapa eshadute esatu deshataka prokto vibhuter vistaro maya. So whatever I have told you is just a mere speck, just like examples. That's it. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. So that's what Krishna is teaching. So know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So that's what Krishna is teaching. It's just ekam sena stito jagat. So Yadyad vibhuti matsatvam srimad urjitam evava taddadeva gachatvam mamat tejomsa sambhavam. So mamat tejomsa sambhavam. So that's what he says. And at the end, Krishna is telling Arjuna that, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? Athava bahunaitena kimnyatena tavarjuna. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? Vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam ekam sena sthito jagat. With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. That's what Krishna is teaching. So that way, Krishna's power, opulence is unlimited. That's why this chapter, what we studied, is the opulence of the absolute. So that's what the chapter 10, what we are studying, is the opulence of the absolute. So by Krishna's mercy, we have actually successfully finished chapter 10 today. So now let us follow what he says in the 6th chapter, like how to control our mind. So Krishna is teaching that one should sit straight. So one should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Again, not at the tip of the nose, like just look down. That is the main thing. So then what we are supposed to do is that from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. We need to just monitor, watch where our mind is going and just bring it back wherever it goes. So let us chant. It will roughly take about 7 to 8 minutes, and then we'll discuss questions. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Niti Namini. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmin Sri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Okay, I hope you could hear everything clearly today. You want any questions you have?
Yeah, I have two questions.
Yes.
So I know we're focusing on the 10th chapter but something that you brought up at the beginning from the 18th chapter, the
Yes.
text 74,
Mm.
made me wonder.
Yeah.
Surely Krishna knew during this whole scene that Sanjaya
Mhm.
was listening into this conversation.
Of course, that's a very important. Yes, he knows. Krishna knows.
So why was he okay with that, since he's repeatedly saying that this is the most confidential knowledge and I'm telling this just to you, even though he knows at least 2 other people are listening?
Because, yeah, that is true. Because Krishna even is giving, even we are all also listening right now. We are also studying that same knowledge, correct? So, but that question is that why Krishna is saying confidential is very important, because what he says that in the same like 18th chapter, 74th sloka, and before that, just before that, what Krishna says, what is very important. For example, in this sloka number, so what he says that, so here it comes in the 60. Okay, this confidential knowledge may never be, I think I'm not sharing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so
okay, now you are.
Yeah, 67th sloka. So Krishna is teaching that this confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere, nor are devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. So that's what he says. So it is the confidential knowledge. The reason he is saying confidential knowledge, because he himself says very clearly in the next sloka, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. So Krishna is giving this knowledge. He doesn't want it to be confidential or secret. So, but it is confidential or secret knowledge because it can be understood only by those who believe in him, those who are devotees of Krishna. Otherwise, they will not understand. So that's why he is saying that this is the confidential knowledge. So, and he also is saying that there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So that means anyone who gives this knowledge to others, so they are the most dearest to Krishna. Krishna is not saying that they are very dearer to me. Krishna is saying that there is no one dearer than him. So that's what he is saying. So that way, this knowledge is actually Krishna wants us to follow and understand, everyone to understand one. But the problem is actually because of enviousness. So even in the 9th chapter, very first sloka, Krishna told Arjuna that I am explaining you this knowledge. I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge because you are not envious of me. You are never envious of me. That's what Krishna is saying. So Krishna is saying that Teme matam idam nityam anutistanti manava. So even in the 3rd chapter we studied. So I am giving you this knowledge. So if you hear with Shraddhavanto Anasuyanto. So with faith, without envy, so then you are free from all the miseries. So that's what he's teaching. So that way, what is needed is like the persons. Krishna is saying that Teme matam idam, yeme matam idam nityam anutistanti manavaga shraddhavantu anasuyantu muchyante tepi karma. So those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive actions. But those because of enviousness, so if they don't follow, but those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. That's what Krishna is teaching. So that's why it is a confidential knowledge for those who don't believe this knowledge. So for them, it will stay confidential only because they can't understand. Just because your book is there, it is not that anybody like I want to study physics or chemistry or some subject. I can take the book and read and understand. It's not like that. Bhagavad Gita is first, the only qualification is faith. So Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. A faithful person will get this knowledge. So that way Krishna, of course, he knows. In fact, Vyasadeva, who wrote this Bhagavad Gita, this Mahabharatam, and Bhagavad Gita is a part of this Mahabharata. He himself is a literary incarnation of Krishna, so Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva only, the author of this Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, who recorded everything and who wrote. So he only gave that boon to Sanjaya. So Sanjaya even tells at the end, by mercy of the 75th sloka, he says that by the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential thoughts directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. Vyasa prasada chutavan etat guhyam aham param yogam yogeswarat krishnat sakshat kadayatagaswam. So of course, this is confidential knowledge, means Krishna wants everyone to get it, but it will stay confidential for those who don't want to believe in this, who are not, who are envious of God. You get that point?
Yeah, it makes a bit more sense. Just it is being inaccessible to those who don't have faith to begin with.
That is the thing. Yes, it is available everywhere, but nobody can understand other than only those who have faith. That is the only qualification needed for this Bhagavad Gita. So
okay,
that is the thing. Yeah.
My other question is from the chapter 10, text 41. Do I have it up? I do.
Yeah, again. Okay.
So Krishna says that all things opulent, beautiful, and glorious spring from a spark of his. Since he's the creator of all things, that would also mean he's the creator of the things that are the opposite. So things that are small and ugly and horrible as well.
That is
correct?
True. That is true. Very much. Everything comes from Krishna only, but he doesn't want to create, but we are making him to create. That is the problem. So this material world, Krishna is teaching very clearly in Bhagavad Gita that this is a temporary place, ugly place, miserable place. It's full of suffering only. So don't come here. So Krishna, it's like no government wants to create jails, correct? They don't want. If all the citizens are very good, they follow all the things correctly, so then there is no need for jail at all. There is no need for police and all this force. Nothing is needed, correct? Nobody wants. But because we violate, so that's why all these things are there. So that's why this material world, Krishna doesn't even want to create. Krishna doesn't even want us to come and suffer and struggle here. So he is actually, that's why he is asking that you forget about everything here, always get connected with me, think about me, come to me. If you come to me, then your life is fully blissful, very peaceful, all the time, permanent blissful life. All such things Krishna is teaching us. But being ourselves the soul, being ourselves having that free will, so if we are misusing our free will, then Krishna has to create all these things to keep under this place, this in the jail. This material world itself is considered like a jail. And Maya, the three modes of material nature, is you can compare that to a jailer, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, spiritual world is much more bigger than this actually. There are, so like in a big city, jail is a small place compared to the scale of the city. So like that, spiritual world is so much bigger, and all the souls they are enjoying. So, but without the knowledge, because of ignorance, because of ahankara, we are actually in this material world struggling and suffering. But once we get this knowledge and follow this and realize that we are the soul, we are not the body, then there is an opportunity for us to free ourselves from the modes of nature. That's the main thing.
Okay. I don't have any more questions for today.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Both are very nice questions. Thank you for your questions. And yeah, we will continue.